Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Join me to our salute to our flag and country. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for our prayer, please.
Almighty God, thank you for all who work to make our city a better place each day. Watch over our meeting tonight, and may our thoughts, words, and deeds be pleasing to you. Open our hearts and minds to ways to be blessings to our neighbors. Please be with all those in Logan County who have been impacted by the recent severe storms and help them as they recover and deal with the aftermath. Protect all the people and animals that may be vulnerable to the 100-degree heat. And lastly, as we approach the 4th of July, please keep watch over our citizens and protect them. Be with our first responders as they serve our community on this very special holiday. We give you thanks for our freedom. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Richardson. I open our City of Guthrie City Council meeting of July 2nd. Second item on the agenda is public comments, community announcements, and recognitions. We have none. Third item on the agenda is consent agenda. Items A, B, C, and D. A is the approval of the City Council minutes of June 18th. B is the approval of final invoice for $3,355.66 from Park Hill Engineering for a COVID response grant. C is the approval of payment to Myers Engineering for invoice number 221169-10 for $26,890 for Owens Field softball facility upgrade. And D is the approval of payments to Battery Plus bulbs for a lighting grant in the amount of $13,083 for the purchase and installation of LED lights for the Armory, the cemetery and admin building, and Highland Hall. We'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval to approve consent agenda items A, B, C, and D. Item number 4, items removed from consent agenda. There were none. I open a public hearing. Public hearing on item number 5 on the grant number 18472, Community Development Block Grant, COVID Response Project for discussion and possible action. Public hearing for this grant. And Millie Vance, welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
I apologize in advance for my voice. When my neighbor cuts his hay every summer, I do this for 2-3 weeks. So I feel fine. It doesn't hurt to talk. It's just awful to listen to. I appreciate the opportunity to meet with you tonight. In January of 22, Kim contacted me, Leroy at that time, and said, hey, we heard there's some money out there, some COVID money that we would like to get. And I was like, oh no, they heard about it. Anyway, they were very diligent and pushed me to make the application. The city was successful in receiving this grant. To date, we have completed the project and spent $375,345.72. Now, what we did with that money was to improve 7 buildings that are owned by the city. We did HVAC systems in Highland Hall, the community center, also known as the Girl Scouts building, the library, the cemetery building, Guthrie Public Works building, the fire station, the cemetery building, the GPWA building, and the water plant building. So all of those buildings have new HVAC systems. You know, you stop and think about it, that's significant because you guys are faced every year, budget, where are we gonna find the money, where are we gonna get the money to do these kind of projects? Well, congratulations, you have 7 buildings that are greatly improved. The money was to fund improvements that would benefit your citizens as they enter and leave these buildings, but also your employees with better air return and systems. And then 5 of those buildings, we did window replacements. So the whole project served the entire city of Guthrie. At the time we did the application, 9,965 persons. It did meet the 51% low mod income requirements. So at this point, Mr. Darby has inspected all of those buildings, the HVAC systems, and all of the window installations, and we're ready to close this grant out. With your approval of everything tonight, we'll draw down the last of the money, which is a little over $69,000. Since we're in public hearing, we'd just like to know if any of you have questions or if any of your public has questions about the project.
Are there any questions first from public that are present? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward to the mic, identify yourself.
Hello, my name is Cindy Wall, and I do have a question. You said it was COVID money, so what was the qualifications that you had to use it for?
In this particular case, the Department of Commerce had some leftover money called COVID money that was funded, and so they created a special set-aside whereby the communities could apply for money to improve their buildings, their heat and air return, windows that could operate rather than the old ones that would open and close. So that was the category that the city applied in and didn't get funded in.
And how was the decision for those buildings decided?
The city staff established some priorities within the communities of buildings that had these needs and set the priorities.
So you went by what was needed most and then spread it out, correct?
Yes,
That answers my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Ball.
thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, any other public questions? What about questions from the council?
None here.
More comments?
I think it's outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. With that, we can conclude the public hearing and.
Close the public hearing, and we'll move on to item number 6, which is the resolution approving and accepting the grant number 18472, COVID response project, as
Motion to
Ms.
approve.
Vance has identified.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I thought you were
I think
finished
she's
talking.
gonna talk about it, Jim.
Go ahead. Thought we were done.
You have anything?
I'm just here if you
I'm
have
sorry, I'm not
questions.
saying the same thing.
I'm good with that.
Okay. So we have a motion. Is that correct?
Well,
Councilman
hang on
Case?
just a second, let me reread this.
Okay.
No, we don't. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I misspoke.
Okay, I will accept the motion then to approve accepting the grant with the work that's been done and accepted by city staff.
I'll second that, or make the motion for it.
Okay? Well,
sorry.
the motion has been made. Is there a second? I'll make the second.
Go ahead.
I'll make the second then. Any other discussions or questions of Ms. Vance?
Thought you were making the motion.
I said I would accept it, so we'll go ahead. All right, submit your votes, please.
All votes are in.
Let's see the votes. Unanimous approval then to approve and accept the grant number 18472 COVID response project. Thank you, Millie, for all the hard work that you've done in this case and in previous ones for the community. Thank you very, very much. Item number 7, ordinance number 3413, fireworks discharge permit amendment. Eddie?
Yes, Mayor and Council, consistent with previous year past practice, we have brought forth an ordinance that will allow fireworks to be discharged this weekend, which also encompasses the city's fireworks show that will take place Saturday evening after Red Brick Nights, sponsored by Fireworks A Poppin'.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, discussion, comments? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval then to accept and approve the amendment to the ordinance number 3413, which amends ordinance number 33111, extending the time for fireworks in city limits. Item number 8 is the emergency clause, which allows the immediate implementation of this ordinance. Eddie, any other comments that you'd like to make?
Excuse me, nothing to add, sir.
Okay,
So moved.
we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any questions? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval then for the emergency clause to ordinance number 3413. Item number 9, Oklahoma Highway Safety Office grant acceptance. This is a overtime grant for traffic enforcement from the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office in the amount of $33,341. Chief?
This is a grant we get almost every year. We made a substantial jump this year. I think the highest we'd ever gotten before was $11,000. But we put a lot of time and energy into working the traffic portion, and they gave us this $33,000 this year. So we hope you'll accept it. It helps us a lot.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
Way to go, chief. Thank you.
All votes are in.
Unanimous approval then to accept the Oklahoma Highway Safety Office grant for the amount of $33,341. Chief, thank you very much for that. And moving right along to item number 10, resolution number 2024-12, Guthrie Police Department Policy Manual. Chief.
I want to explain a little bit on this one. So we adopted half a manual, I think, last year, and this will be the other half this year. One of the discussions we had with the city manager and the city attorney was we have opted to use the policy manual that our insurers put out, OMAG, and it's called Lexipol. They issue updates to policies on a regular basis. I mean, sometimes weekly, sometimes several times a week. They're usually nothing big, but what you're approving tonight, if you approve it, is, hey, you're gonna let us work underneath those policies as long as they're not something of substance. And then we will bring the manual back to you all once a year instead of trying to do it every council meeting or once a month or something like that.
So what happens if there's some substantial?
If it's something substantial where we need to write a new policy or something like that, that will come back to you all. As a for instance, this last update we got was a change of pronouns. So we went from he's and she's to thems and theys.
Yeah.
And that's not, I don't think that would be.
Yeah, we don't
anything
need to
required
approve
come
that.
to the council. And so a bunch of it's like that, or spelling errors. It's not, when I say it's not substantial, it could be, but if we get something substantial, it's something they'll push out, and it would be a legislative change that they're putting in there. And y'all, I don't think you would vote against that anyway, right, if we're following the law. Hopefully that's what you want us to do.
So this is just kind of a cover. This is just kind of a cover application for changes that are made by the accrediting body, by OMAG, that are of minimal significance. Anything of significance you will bring back to the council.
Correct. And we will bring it back regardless, at least once a calendar year.
I'll accept the motion.
Right. Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes.
Thank
Unanimous
you
approval
very much.
Thank you,
then,
Chief.
Nice,
to
Chief.
accept resolution 2024-12, changes to the police department policy manual. Item number 11, create a general ledger fund and establish new bank account with F&M Bank for the opioid settlement fund. Eddie?
Yes, Mayor and Council, as is consistent with the rules set out in the opioid settlement fund, which was all agreed to prior to my arrival, we need to establish a new general ledger fund as well as a new bank account. The signers will remain the same, which are currently the mayor, the vice mayor, the city clerk, and the deputy clerk. So this is consistent with the terms we've already agreed to. We're receiving those funds now, and we need to deposit those in the bank.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes. Unanimous approval then to establish a general ledger fund with F&M Bank for creating an opioid settlement fund. Item number 12, City Manager Report.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Several things currently going on. One, you may have noticed over the weekend, we did have to close the boat ramp at Guthrie Lake. We're currently pulling our water from Guthrie Lake, pumping up out at Liberty, out of the Cottonwood, filling up Liberty Lake. So increased usage, water usage this time of year. As we all know, we get into the summer, we tend to use more water. That's consistent with what we're seeing out at Guthrie Lake. So we are monitoring that, and as we said, we do continue to fill up Liberty Lake and pump that up with the water from the Cottonwood. Hopefully you saw my email over the weekend. Late last week, Jesse Bryan and I received confirmation that our cybersecurity grant has been approved in the amount of $310,315.69.
Amen. Thank you.
That is phenomenal. The changes that we're going to be able to make to our technology. Currently utilizing the new wastewater treatment plant. We're not fully operational, but we do have we have turned over and receiving material at the new facility. So we expect over the next 30 to 60 days, we will continue to work out all the kinks and the bugs and get the wastewater treatment plant fully operational. We have notified the Department of Environmental Quality that we have turned over to the new plant. It's a huge win as well for the community. And we look to schedule some sort of ribbon cutting ceremony late August, probably September, as the weather cools down, and give our staff time to really get familiar with the new equipment. That way we can show the community what it is that we've invested in. So huge win. Appreciate Tenny and the staff as well as Myers Engineering for their hard work on that. Last week, State Capitol Publishing Museum, you may have seen the deed was received from the Oklahoma Historical Society over to the Guthrie Tomorrow Coalition. That's, again, another plus in the community. If you know Mr. Bilodeau, Lynn, and crew, they've worked hard on that, as well as received substantial help from former Senator A.J. Griffin. And so Chamber Coffee, we recognize those folks. The mayor did a proclamation for A.J. Griffin. It's a well-attended event. Look forward to the future of that facility and what comes next. We are in budget season. It's favorite time of year, so budget meetings are ongoing. Kim and I have met a couple of times to discuss what's next. We will be meeting with department heads over the next 2 weeks and plan to have a draft budget at your first meeting in August. So we will have a budget workshop that evening. CIP update. We did interview construction management firms today for both the second fire and EMS station as well as the municipal pool project. So looking forward to the results of that. Should have something for you very soon and be ready to move forward on those projects. The water towers, we've signed that task order with Myers Engineering. Both facilities have been tested for lead paint so that we can comply with what's the next steps are in terms of sandblasting, removing that paint, making sure that we're meeting all the regulations that exist. The ADA intersections, again, currently working on that with Myers Engineering as well. So CIP number 2 projects are in the works. I think you'll see some dirt turning and some actual substance around October of this year. So, sidewalk project along the division is coming along nicely. The crew has done a great job. We've been very pleased with them. In fact, when this project is complete, we will have more brick on the sidewalks than what existed. So the alleyways will have additional brick than what was previously there. So all original brick will remain or be put back. So that is a big point for the community to be reminded of. No brick will be lost on this project. City Hall will be closed on Thursday for Independence Day. We'll resume normal operations on Friday. And then, of course, as I previously mentioned, Red Brick Nights is Saturday evening. Got a good lineup of live music ready to go, as well as fireworks to pop in immediately thereafter. And that is all I have.
Okay. Any questions of Eddie?
Good job, Eddie.
Thank you.
No? Very
A
good.
lot of successes right there.
It's a good team. Good team.
Item number 13, comments from City Council. Vice Mayor Geary.
I have been asked to correct the record for a comment I made during the last council meeting. Councilman Bothroyd asked me a question. The question I thought I heard was, did you hear that? And the answer to that question was yes. I went back and reviewed the council meeting, and the question was, did he say that to you personally? And the answer to that would be no. So I've been asked to correct the record, so that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Williams.
Well, I just agree, a lot of great news tonight, and thank you to everybody that had everything to do with all those projects and grants, and bringing that wastewater treatment plant on is a big deal. Been waiting on that a long time, a lot of questions, and just appreciate everybody working on that.
Councilman Taylor.
Great job, Team Guthrie, because I think this is an all-out team effort. I appreciate all you guys working on this thing. Thank you, Millie, for what you've done on that as well. All that stuff, it's fine, like out of sight, out of mind stuff, so I appreciate that. Happy birthday, Grant. I know
Thank you.
I hope you had a great birthday.
At 51, you know, there's not much point in having birthdays. After 21, that just sort of, you know, but I guess it's better than the alternative.
That's right, better be at 6 foot under. That's it, Mayor.
Poor baby is all I can say.
Well, I guess Adam and I are the youngest on the, Adam has me beat on that one by like more than a decade, but.
Okay, young Councilman Ropp.
Well, that's the best way I've been addressed all year. Same thing, this is probably the happiest, most positive meeting in recent memory with everything we've had. The grants all around, appreciated a ton, and those are really sizable. The brick looks great, it looks better than it, am I the only one that thinks it looks better than it did before? Good job on putting it back. I think we need a sign, Tenny, that says no brick was harmed in the making of this, like they do on movies, you know, like no brick was harmed. We've been getting a lot of questions about it, so we, you know, appreciate it. And I will actually pull a Taylor and say thank you, staff, today. I notice a lot of great things you're doing, and I really appreciate it. It's a lot of hard work.
Councilman Bothroyd.
I pretty much ditto the same. I want to make a request for the next council. I would like to, I think that we need clarification on what an ex officio's role is when we appoint them to a board. And I guess that's going to be up to you, Billy. So I want that on the next council. An esteemed member of our community, which I won't go into who, told me at one point in my career on council, what we say matters, and it does. You're right, Grant, I asked a pointed question, and you responded to it a certain way, and no skin in the game for me, but did that sway how the vote went? I don't know. And so I'm a believer in letting everybody be heard, no matter what, whether you want to or not. I mean, we've had other councilmen, and I've taken that same position. They're not here any longer, but that was always the position I took. So that's it.
Okay, all right. Councilman Case.
Everybody have a happy 4th of July. Everything else has been covered. That's the only thing I can think of. So have a happy 4th of July. Be safe.
Very good. Vice Mayor Aguirre, I appreciate your taking accountability for your comments and correcting the record. Eddie, you talked about the water in Lake Guthrie. We have to remind everybody, we are in a drought. We are in a drought. And even though the water is flowing, and even though the city has not placed any restriction, I beg all of you to be very conservative with our use of water, especially in our lawns and our gardens and so forth. We still need, we are still under a very significant drought, and it can jump up on us at any time. And thank goodness for the foresight of our forefathers to have the two Great Lakes that we have. Many members of this council also assisted, along with obviously with Penny, in pulling water off of the river and making that available. But it is still a challenge for us. So please be conservative with the use of the water. Also, please be safe. On the 4th of July, fireworks are flying. It's still pretty tender out there. Our bodies are tender. Be careful where you're shooting and what you're shooting your fireworks from. The emergency rooms will tell you every 4th of July they get some people in who just haven't been careful. So please be careful. The chief doesn't want to send EMS out to take care of people who have been hurt by exploding fireworks. Again, on Saturday, not a Red Brick Nights, and some great artists that'll be performing, but probably the best artist of the night, Fireworks a Poppin', at approximately 10 o'clock at night. And if you haven't been there, you need to be there.
It's an amazing
It's
show.
like a crescendo from the start to the finish. Am I not right?
You're right on.
Pretty close. Yeah, it's really,
gonna be cool,
it's the
too.
best show in the state.
Best show on earth.
Yeah.
Temperature's not gonna be bad either.
I was wondering, can I speak, Jane?
Well, I will make an exception, if you will, as long as it's something good.
Well, this is my first ever city meeting ever in my whole life, so
Okay.
congratulations.
Congratulations. Welcome.
Thank you. I had a couple of questions and I wasn't quite sure how to go about asking them. One of them was for the officer, and does, if you don't mind,
I think this, when you start to ask questions, it really should be a part of the first start. So my suggestion would be to get with the chief of police.
Okay.
And if you still have questions, bring it to the next city council meeting, if you would. That's our protocol. That's where it's supposed to happen, right up front.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I have another question for him about what they're gonna do with the old waste treatment plant.
Yeah, and
That
that will
comes
be,
to
that
you
will be,
guys, too.
that will be another question that, good questions, just we need to follow our protocol that we have set.
That's why
Okay.
I wanted to ask you a question before you guys all got up and left and I didn't know.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, again, welcome, and
Thank you.
we'll see you back in 2 weeks?
Yes, you will.
Okay, all right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned from our city council meeting.
Sit down.
We have one more left. And I open our Guthrie Public Works Authority meeting of July 2nd. Second item on the agenda is consent agenda items A and B. A is the approval of Public Works Authority minutes of June 18th. B is the approval of payment to Myers Engineering of invoice number 222246-15 for $11,998.91 for engineering services on the water distribution system. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a second? I'll second it. We have a motion and a second. Any questions of those items? Submit your votes.
All votes are in.
See the votes, unanimous approval of the two items on the consent agenda, items A and B. Item number 3, items removed from consent agenda, there were none. Item number 4, change order number 2 with Southwest Water Works LLC. Tenny?
Mayor, Council, this change order 2, as I believe you stated, was increased to our original contract for $40,765. This change order will reconsolidate quantities, planned quantities for Section B. Once the contractors actually got dug into this project, the actual location of the 12-inch main that currently runs down Perkins goes right through the middle of an existing storm drain structure. The new line now bores underneath that structure, removing that out of it. And the 6-inch line that connects to our fire station, the elevation changes in those two is what has resulted in this change order, forcing us to relocate that 6-inch to a different depth to make a tie-in to the new line.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any questions of Tenny? Hearing none, submit your votes.
All votes Strand.
Votes unanimous approval, and to approve change order number 2 for $40,765 for the water line project. Item number 5, sole source purchase of new base stations for the Utility Technology Center. Tenny, I guess it's yours also. I'll jump up here, Mayor and Council, and try to help Kim out here a little bit. So yeah, me and Tim both have kind of worked on this in partnership. This came to us out of nowhere. Our base stations are the stations that sends our or receives our signals from our water meters, sending them to communication-wise to City Hall and the database. Lifespan on these databases are 7 to 10 years. Both of ours currently are approximately 12 years since we've had the automated read meters. We've reached out to UTS, which is the sole source provider for this base station. We've received a quote, $65,000 to replace one. We are, I believe, looking at the possibilities of including a line item in our FY25 budget to consider the purchase of the second one to replace it. Okay. Questions?
So is this one just failing?
Well, yes, it has failed. We're currently not receiving those reads. Correct, Kim? We have got this base station has been sent off to try to determine whether it was storm related or just due to its life expectancy. It has failed on us. If it's been determined that it is storm related, then we could possibly look at maybe an insurance claim of some sort to assist with the purchase of it.
But it is this and not the endpoints out there, right?
Correct.
Yes, it is the base station. It has been determined that.
Have you
And-
had, oh, go ahead. Did you have to go read the meters manually, or were you able to pull anything or not?
We were able to estimate this month,
Oh,
and
okay.
something we're going to do with this is a not to exceed amount on this particular item, and so we've got some questions for the team that we're going to try to get clarification on. But in the meantime, because the lead time on this item is so long and it is crucial to our billing system, I want to go ahead and get this approved. See if we can identify a method. Why did this go down? And why did the one on the east side go down, but the one on the west side did not? So there's got to be some sort of correlation. It could be just that it's reached the end of its useful life. That is a possibility. But we want to make sure that we have that determined, submit that claim if possible, and try to get that paid.
So about how many customers were affected?
There's around 900 that we
900?
had to estimate, yeah. And so the west side picked up some of those reads, but not consistently. And so, so it's about 900.
So then our estimate will be based upon an average, okay.
Yep.
And are we sending something out to these customers? Because if it's an average, it could be that next month is gonna be, or whenever we get the readings installed for update, that there may be a jump.
There could possibly be, yes. And that's a good idea. We can get
And
something out of the newsletter.
What we would do, Mayor, in that
sorry?
situation, so what we would do, like, for example, my personal residence is one of the accounts that had to be estimated. And so my bill was to the penny what it was last month. And so if there's an increase in that usage and if there's an issue with that resident needing to make that payment, we'd be happy to work out a payment plan of some kind and just explain the situation so that they're aware. With the 900 users that we've had to estimate, it's an unfortunate event. You know, we don't want to have to send somebody out to manually read meters, but if that's something we have to do, that's something we can do. It's not something we want to do. Just want to clarify. But as far as the correction for the billing percentage, if that becomes a problem for residents, we will do our best to work with them to get that retained. It's not their fault that our system went down, and we recognize that.
So will there be a retroactive charge when we do get it back up? They'll go back and charge them what they didn't charge them when they were averaging? Is that what you're
Or
saying?
reduce it.
Or reduce it.
Or reduce
Yep.
it, okay.
So I don't remember, didn't we lease these endpoints? We bought them out?
Yep.
Okay.
It was-
I thought we leased them, no.
Yeah, it was well over $1 million when
Right.
we did it.
Motion to approve.
Okay, entertain a motion. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Submit your votes.
All votes red?
See the votes. Unanimous approval then to approve the sole source
Thank you,
purchase
Tenny.
of a new base station for not to exceed $65,000. That being the last item on our agenda, ladies and gentlemen, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.